welcome to this Cyber Talk session. Let me have a short introduction about myself. So yeah, I'm Alexandre Horvath. I worked for already a couple of, or let's say 20 years in cybersecurity space, acting for different companies as a CISO and DPO, where I led all kind of strategic initiatives, bigger cybersecurity programs. Did also a lot of regulatory compliance work, implementing also a lot of security frameworks, and always going further. And now, obviously, also with AI, looking at those kind of frameworks. So, yeah, let's jump into it. Yeah, if you have any other questions about myself, obviously you can still ask them afterwards, or then also contact me over any kind of social media. Good, so let's jump into it. Short introduction about what are we talking today. So this webinar addresses obviously the big buzzword AI, or the increasing significance in artificial intelligence, mainly in automation and penetration testing. So that will be the main focus for today. And we will discuss how obviously AI enhances security processes, improves efficiency, and the tools that facilitate ethical hacking. Yeah, always bear in mind that the other side also uses AI, so we really have to put out our sleeves and yeah, use whatever we can. Additionally, the ethical implication and best practices will also be highlighted. This is also an important thing, especially I always quote with well, garbage in, garbage out. So I mean, even if you use artificial intelligence, but actually it's taking data which is well, not good, or old, or if it produces a lot of false positive, then it won't do much. So yeah, so we will also have to look at that and yeah, build it properly, put in some effort there, and then you will also gain most out of it. Good, so on the agenda, we will have a look at the AI integration, AI in pen testing, and then ethics, as we just saw. And yeah, at the end, you also have some time for Q&A session. So, the role of AI in ethical hacking obviously will have a fundamental change, because it's improving a lot in speed and accuracy of discovering vulnerabilities. I mean, if I look at the old days where a lot of security operations or other security employees had to manually go through a lot of things, set up, configure a lot of things. Yeah, it took just really a long time to discover either vulnerabilities, or you had to be on the right track, or and so on. So okay, also cloud computing helped a lot already, because well, obviously everything was online, well, 24/7, so that made for the systems things easier to discover. But again, on the other hand, also more attackable, because yeah, it's always there and available basically, or remotely accessible. So yeah, so that's one thing we always also have to consider. So the AI-driven tools can obviously analyze vast amounts of data, but again, if the data is not good, then yeah, it can do it quite fast, analyze a lot, but yeah, not in a good quality. But obviously, if it's good quality, then yeah, it's way faster and can do a lot of things, enabling security professionals to identify potential entry points in a way faster way than it was before, or they would even have overlooked. So we can engage in more proactive measure against those attacks. I also see one big point is that the AI can actually then also look at multi kind of vulnerabilities to try to also, because yeah, normally if you look at an incident, you look from one attack vector, but AI, if they have obviously a lot of patterns, they can also cross-check them, and you can obviously, I think that will also be a big benefit. And as it says already, the speed and accuracy is obviously way faster than in the old days where a lot of had to do manually. So if AI facilitates automated exploitation techniques, and that by replicating real-time attacks, so that's really important, because that's what we want to do. We want to check if real-world attacks actually, yeah, or on our system, or invading, or yeah, we want to protect those. So that's important that we have those, and thereby allowing security to test their defenses. Because yeah, well, first of all, if we don't know those attacks, that's already one bad thing. And the other thing is, yeah, our doors will be open, well, potentially. Yeah, and then we can really focus on also on the defense, which is important. And that also already can also be done by using well, kind of AI defense mechanism. So this automation reduces the manual workload, as I said before, on ethical hackers, because I mean, if we already lose a lot of time of our day by, as I said before, well, coding or setting up a lot of manual configurations or kind of automated processes, yeah, we're just losing a lot of time, and that will definitely help our workload. And increasing the frequency of thoroughness of penetration tests without sacrificing depth of coverage. So yeah, so if you're obviously already in penetration testing, you very well know that the time is always also an opponent, basically. And yeah, if you really want to try a lot of things in a fast way, as I said, also cross attack as well, so that you can. And as I say, AI tools learn a lot, so you will get from each time it will actually be better, increase. But on the other hand, it has also to be modified, so it's not a one thing you can actually set up once and then just lay back. You also have to see what's going on, what we have to try next. But the beauty about it is a lot of those tools actually show a nice kind of well, obviously the way how they work. Creating a lot of prompts directly, and obviously they can also directly prompt it if depending on what you're using. So I think that's also a big help, and yeah, you can, and reduces, as it says, obviously the workload for ethical hacker, and they can really focus on yeah, if there's definitely a vulnerability, and really to check more and more attacks. So AI enhances the process of vulnerability discovery by utilizing advanced algorithm. As we said before, so the algorithm, you also need to have an in-depth look at it and set it up wisely. And then obviously you can analyze the system and networks. So this intelligent approach allows for identification of vulnerabilities. As we said before, with greater accuracy and speed, obviously compared to the old days. And also by simulating potential attack vectors, AI tools can prioritize risk effectively. So that's also a big benefit, this prioritization of risks. AI can automatically really focus fully on the high potential or high risks, and yeah, and less on the lower risk. I mean, I'm not saying that they won't do it or do it later, because AI can work very fast. But again, you can really put a lot of CPU power into the highest risks. So yeah, that should so you will mitigate or decrease those risks in a really effective way. Telemetrics are obviously also crucial in AI-driven vulnerability assessments. Yeah, so providing real-time data, that's also always a big thing. Well, data, it's always the best obviously if it's real-time, but even if it's not real-time, as I said before, data really has to be streamlined, it has to be accurate, it has to be integer, and you really have to know where it comes into. So I mean, if you just take any kind of data, which is also in the internet, who everybody can modify, then we're close. Also, don't forget about the fake news, that yes, maybe you will also go into a wrong direction, or you will also face a lot of false positives or even really bad information. So again, as I said before, it's really important to put some time there and see where you actually get that type of data, so you can actually analyze and pinpoint the weaknesses in the systems. So these metrics include network traffic, system logs, and user behavior. I would even go further. You can also have device behavior analytics, which is also really nice to have, because I mean, obviously it's always good if you can see if a user behaves well, how can I say, not in a normal way or different than normal. That's one thing. But obviously if a machine or a device is also using more CPU power at one point, or is connecting to a really strange website or IP address, then that behavior should definitely also be somehow pinpointed, and you should include it into your whole trafficking. And so by leveraging these data points, organization can really gain insight into potential vulnerabilities. I would even go further. You can, with user behavior, you can maybe also see insider threats as well. Because if somebody obviously is downloading, and I don't know, mass downloads, who has never done it, so the system should really recognize that, and people or AI should be informed. And you can block things, you can quarantine them. You can do a lot of things, which will help in our cybersecurity department. Good. So there's obviously a range of AI-based tools and techniques. Which obviously ethical hacker should also use, in my opinion. So these include automated penetration testing tools, but those go further than the ones we had in the old days. Machine learning algorithms for threat detection, AI-driven vulnerability scanners. So this is really nice that we have that. I can also recommend, if you're working with Kali Linux, that they also upgraded on a kind of an AI platform where you can already use a lot of tools there to use for all kinds of different scans, but obviously also for penetration testing. So have a look there. Play around and enjoyed it, because I think that's a really good thing to use. Obviously these tools improve testing efficiency and effectiveness, definitely, because they're faster, and as I said, you also faster in the whole, detection. And so ethical hackers can really identify and mitigate those risks in a way faster way. I also think it's a good thing for also more junior users or security specialists, because they can really find a lot of things. As the prompts really are nicely shown, you can learn how in a quicker way, and also look at those prompts which are automatically actually created by AI. So I talked a lot about it. Let's also jump quickly into the first movie or a tool example. Here you can actually also see PenTestGPT AI, where we will have a look at the cross-site scripts. I won't say too much, or let's have a look first, and then we'll talk about it, explain it.
Hey guys, this is Martin. Welcome to another video. Today I want to show you a new tool which is called PenTestGPT.ai, and you can sign up to this with your Google account, or you can create an account, and it's free. There's two versions. Basically, there's a free version which just gives you the outputs you then need to put in manually, and then there's a paid version as well which has full terminal access, like similar to Manus and stuff. And then basically it can issue you your commands or your payloads or whatnot via curl and what have you, right? And so it's super powerful, and so I want to show you real quick how this looks like. So basically I have a very basic lab here open on PortStrigger, reflected XSS into HTML context, so one of the basic labs, and you probably have seen this one before, and it's no input filtering, no output encoding basically, right? And what I'm going to show you now is I simply prompt it here and say this. I say like exploit XSS, so I give it the link to this specific lab from PortStrigger, and I say like the app is vulnerable to reflected XSS and has no defenses. The input is in the search bar on the main page. Goal is to make the pop-up fire. So I give it that command here, and now it's actually going out and is looking at the source code of that page, and it's looking into it, and it's looking at loads of different things, and then it basically comes up here with the payload I should try, right? So I copy this payload out and I put it here into a new tab and just put it in there and see what happens, and the XSS fires, and that basically solves my lab, right? So this is super interesting. This is a good and a bad thing. So I recommend everyone starting out with this stuff to still learn it from scratch, because if you don't understand the underlying technology, you will still have a very, very hard time, right? But if you're already into pen testing and if you're already into bug bounty, this kind of stuff can help you like seriously advance your time first and foremost, like the time you need. And then what's hyper interesting to me is if you have the paid version here, and if you spend the $25 a month, it will actually exploit this for you, right? Like, so in my scenario, I simply had to copy paste it out and put it into a browser, and that's fine, especially for learning and things. But when you actually have like more complex problems, then you may want to automate this as well. So it works extremely well. I tried it on 7 or 8 different Portswigger labs, including the practitioner ones. You just have to be very accurate with the prompting here, right? Like, so then it will look at the source code, it will look at JavaScript files and things like this, and then it gives you possible solutions. It doesn't always work, but it gives you possible solutions, so it's super powerful. That's all I wanted to show you today. I hope you like it, and I will see you in my next video.
So yeah, that was a quick introduction. So you can see that if you're working with that, it's really nice. It's fast. It's I mean, that was an easy example, obviously, but still, nevertheless, it's as you could see, it really shows quickly the prompt. And as it also said, if you use the pro version, you can even let those prompts will get done by themselves. So yeah, let me also jump into the next one. So that's Kali GDP with a hashcat, where we will quickly have a look how they can actually look or crack a hash.
Let's see how to use Hashcat with Kali GPT to crack a hash. For this demo, we'll keep it simple by generating an MD5 hash of the password, so the video stays short. We open the terminal and create the hash. Then we ask Kali GPT to help us crack it using Hashcat. Kali GPT quickly recognizes the hash. It's common and already listed in public MD5 databases. Still, it walks us through the proper steps to crack it manually. First, we save the hash into a file called hash.txt in the current user directory. Next, we use a word list to launch the attack by pressing exec. And there it is. We've successfully recovered our original password.
So yeah, so you could see also very quickly. I mean, also shocking that it was already somewhere in a public directory. So you can obviously also check a couple of things if the passwords are also secure or already out there. So now, but good ways to go. So those two tools are really helpful, and you can again always look at it. You will also find a lot of tutorials about them. Play around. So it's always helpful to use, and then use them on the go. It's definitely worthwhile. So that brings me already to the benefits and limitations. Yeah, I mean, we talked about a lot of benefits, because obviously you can. One of the main obviously is including faster threat detection. That's definitely a huge improvement. I would also say the improvement of accuracy. In vulnerability assessment, it's more. It will find more in a more accurate way, and obviously also one big one is the reduced human error, because we still if we have to do a lot of things manually, or if we just checked also just one part, or not the full. We didn't have the full picture in that sense like AI does. So there are obviously options where we human can do some error there, but there are also limitations. I mean, as I said before, there are also false positives which an AI could think about it that it's actually another, or it is another false positive, or it interprets it completely different like a human would, which goes into a wrong direction, and then does those kind of a limitation which it doesn't show. Obviously, there's also a reliance on the quality training data. As I said before, data is really important. If it's poor data, it will also be a poor assessment. And on the other hand, also the ethical concerns surrounding automated decision making. That's obviously a big one. Obviously, we don't want to end up like a Skynet in Terminator, where the machines are taking over. But on the other hand, we also have to really put some thoughts in there, because I mean, if we don't set it up correctly, either it goes into a strange decision-making direction, or it can obviously also be kind of going in an unfair direction. That's also one thing, but we will have also a look at that later. So these are really the factors we have to understand to maximize the benefits of AI in security. But overall, I definitely say use it, and it will really improve your security layer. So, implementing best practices for AI-based penetration testing obviously involves establishing clear protocols. That's one thing. Always good if you have them clearly structured up. Then continuous monitoring is also one thing. That's, I guess, also quite clear. But as I said before, it's not just one thing. You can just set up a AI tool or testing and then just leave it. So you also have to modify it, and which brings me obviously to regular updates to training data. That's also one thing. Data should also be looked at and modified from time to time. The security professionals should also ensure transparency in the AI decision process, as we said before, because we really also have to maintain this balance between automation and human oversight, because I still think human should have the last word in that part. And if things are uncertain or there's really a major decision, we can still also tell AI to, as I said before, put some things in a quarantine and then notify obviously a human, and so that the last decision definitely is done by a human. So the use of AI in penetration testing raises important ethical implications. I would say it's not just in penetration testing. I guess it's quite in some areas. So one obviously is the privacy concern and potential misuse also of technology. So here again, organizations should really establish guidelines and ethical frameworks. One framework you can obviously use is ISO 42001. I really recommend also to have a look at that. If you don't want to go for a certification, at least use it as a guideline, and I really look at it and set it up in a similar way. So you can also use others, but it's always good to have something you can, which is working and also internationally recognized to go forward, because in a couple of years, I'm sure AI won't disappear. So it's rather now than later to have a look at it and set it up correctly. And as I said before, it's really important to put some thoughts in it to set it up now when you start, instead of having a patchwork afterwards and then have to do a lot of correcting measures. So good. And also, it's also wise to actually set up a user kind of behavior or responsibility, or just an AI usage policy, because a lot of users or employees just want to know what they can actually do or what they shouldn't do with AI, because if they're using intellectual property of a company for any kind of prompts, that should not. Well, we all know that there were also already some blueprints out there which shouldn't have gone or left the company because our employees used AI, and so that's definitely a thing that you have to consider, and also teach them, educate them, so that those things won't happen. So let's jump into another short video also about AI and ethics.
Ready, focus, go. Ready, focus, go. Ready.
Angesichts der rasanten Entwicklung
As artificial intelligence continues to evolve at lightning speed, it's easy to focus on how smart or fast machines are becoming. But here's the real question: do they have a moral compass? The truth is, AI doesn't have values we program those values in. That's why ethics in AI development isn't optional, it's essential. Every line of code, every dataset, and every algorithm reflects human decisions and human bias. If those decisions are made without care, we risk creating systems that discriminate, surveil, or harm. Imagine an AI hiring tool that quietly favors one gender over another, or a policing algorithm that unfairly targets minority communities. These aren't sci-fi fears, they're real problems happening now. The moral compass of AI must be set by people who value fairness, privacy, and accountability. Developers must think beyond functionality and ask, is this just? Is this inclusive? Could this harm someone? It's not just about preventing disasters, it's about designing AI that uplifts humanity. This means using diverse data, testing for bias, and involving ethicists in every stage of development. It means making AI transparent decisions are made. And it means keeping humans in control, especially when lives or rights are at stake. In short, the future of AI depends on the moral choices we make today. We're not just building smarter machines, we're shaping the digital conscience of the future. And if we get it right, AI can be more than intelligent, it can be truly wise.
Okay, so yeah, that was a nice little introduction there about really AI. Well, yeah, I also think we should, as I said before, we really have to consider and sit down and bring it down and in the beginning put a lot of effort into it and thoughts about how we want to set up this. So addressing bias in AI algorithms is essential to ensure fair and effective security solution. As we heard it before, this involves regular auditing algorithms. So as I said, once the algorithm is done, it's not just basically the holy grail, but you also have to audit it, you have to modify it, because yeah, there could be some discriminatory patterns, or you also have to improve or diversity has to be actually also improved by training data sets and also engaging multidisciplinary teams. I always encourage you that you sit down with a lot of different departments, compliance, legal, the data protection, obviously security, and even HR, to really go through a lot of points. To not discriminatory any users or groups, because otherwise it's always hard to change a lot of things once things are set up, and so you also have to consider this as well. So that's really a longer process. But overall, I'm already coming to actually the conclusion of today's webinar. So definitely AI is there, so use it. AI integration and automation, ethical hacking is transforming how organizations approach security. That's definitely in a good way. So don't wait for it. So better embrace it. So as I said, we'll play around with those tools. Obviously think about how you want to set up artificial intelligence into your organization. As I said, also by creating policies, but also think about how you want to, or from where actually AI is actually gathering that kind of data. Look at the algorithm as well. And obviously you also have to have a kind of a team who look at that on a regular basis. We just heard before, obviously you also have to audit the algorithm as well. But on the other hand, you have obviously significant advantages by, I can say about the force of it, or the speed and the accuracy. So that will also bring in more time for ethical hackers in that, so they can really focus more on how to defense and then setting up proper defense as well. I think that's also a good thing. But also reconsider that you set up that logic in a good way, so no discrimination, as we heard it before. And AI should also not take over, so the decision making part should also be clear, how to set it up and who has actually the last so to say the finger on the button, because at the end of the day it's still the humans should decide how things should go on. But for a couple of processes, obviously humans will be way too slow. Even if you have a full-fledged SOC, it's better to have automation, and if machines can learn, even better. So use that, and I can only recommend. So and I'll do some trainings as well. It's a good question. I think that's definitely where we're heading, because AI really tried. As long as you give them the chance to basically have that kind of setup, that's definitely the way to go forward. I mean, we had it with the different kinds of games they tried out with artificial intelligence. But I mean, that's definitely the way to go forward. So let them make the attack and defense. So that will definitely be interesting to see. But I mean, how can I say, everything we did so far is basically the data or the input we can actually give them, or give AI, and then obviously out of its intelligence, it will then either create another attack, or it will improve its defense because it knows about also those kinds of attacks. So yeah, that will definitely be an interesting part. So I really think it will go that way, and we just have to feed it with proper data to be smarter. Oh, well, I mean, I think a lot of especially automated tools which are inflecting or need speed, like DDoS attacks. Obviously, these kinds of stuff, you can really hurt a lot of companies in a really bad way by just building or telling artificial intelligence to attack them, or using a lot of CPU power to bring down whatever you want. So I think that's the thing we definitely have to have on our watch, or we will think about everything you have with e-commerce, obviously, that you can balance basically your web shops out there. So you need really proper also business continuity strategy there to switch quickly, because I think that's really important. On the other hand, obviously, if you can obviously train your AI bot that always looking for the newest kind of vulnerabilities. And then obviously you will have a lot of companies which are not that fast, or are still in or don't even have proper IT security teams. And there obviously it's an easy win for them. They just go through this. Tell them to go through the internet, or even select a couple of companies and then look if and their system are that badly configured, or as I said, they're not really using the newest updates. So you really can use those kind of vulnerabilities, and I think that's a thing which really has to be considered. So but on the other hand, you can for ethical hackers, we can also use it, let's say, also for any kinds of we always hear about bigger breaches in all kinds of different bigger platforms. So I mean, you can use by credential breaches. So you can also more quickly check if any kind of your employees, some passwords were already leaked or are out there. So that's also one thing which can be done by ethical hackers. I think that's which before was harder, or you had to really be in it. As I said, if you don't have a specific IT security department, that can also be hard to use. So I think that's also an advantage for the ethical hackers. Well, I think I'm going back to the slides or the video we saw before, or the last one. I mean, as bigger it gets, as more groups you have in organizations, and then obviously you always have to consider that things should be transparent and fair. So I mean, if you didn't set up it properly, you will maybe, as it said also in the short movie, that some groups will be excluded. I mean, let's say also for an HR department. I mean, if the hiring process is like, they already check in the first place, man or female, and one group is excluded, that would be it's a really bad thing. So I think that those are the things which you definitely also have to look at in bigger companies, that things still stay transparent, and that it's clear, so that really things are set up in a proper way. With security, obviously you can also do a lot of profiling, looking at the specific users, and therefore you also have to think about data privacy in that field, I would say. So always have an eye open. But if you look at the system still is transparent, and the end decision making is still done by a human, I think at least you're on a good way to still to be possible to actually use AI in a good way. Well, no. Well, hopefully not. Otherwise, we would really have a hard time. I mean, on the one hand, obviously, well, I think the problem was even before. I mean, the hackers, or the bad side, as I call them, they were more organized, or they had, well, obviously they were not afraid also to work, well, either together or share even their services. And yeah, on the other hand, our companies, well, either never wanted to talk about any kind of incidents or breaches, and didn't even form, well, kind of work together, or even put their manpower together. So I think it also starts from there. But nevertheless, I mean, if the attacks, even if they're faster, smarter, they will be known at one stage, and then obviously you have, well, you have still the chance to also set it up on your side. I mean, yeah, well, you still have to do your basic homework. There is your housekeeping as well. I mean, if you had a poor release and patch management then obviously it won't help just to install artificial intelligence. But on the other hand, I think also I hope we will also find some, how can I say, artificial intelligence which can be used by more than just one company. So I mean, that's what I wanted also to say before. If we, well, basically also come together, we can also, yeah, by meaning, will also building kind of a test maybe environment where you can learn from already, well, attacked kind of companies, and then build also artificial intelligence around it, or artificial can actually extract that kind of data or knowledge, and then obviously even companies which are not affected yet will have a real better protection, which would not be possible without artificial intelligence. Well, I would say, well, there is a chance, definitely, or a risk that could be done. I mean, obviously you can do, as I said before, as we saw before, if you set a lot of things, well, if you set an agent or a bot right, then yeah, it can do a lot. In case also DDoS, I would definitely say also that's a possibility. Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I was saying. I mean, if it's, you still have to have a high security kind of level, or baseline, definitely best practice, what we already know so far. I mean, if you have as I said, also a load balancing, in terms if you're also using e-commerce, you already have something. Obviously, if the attacks get too high or too fast, but yeah, so but you're not starting basically from scratch. On the other hand, as I said, there will also be some artificial intelligence on the other side, or by defending, or to find out where actually those kinds of prompts are starting, and so to counterattack basically those attacks. False. I mean, as I said, as long as a human is actually involved, I mean, a human obviously had to set up once also any kind of AI, but as we saw before, if the decision making, or somehow you still have the kind of a chance to interact, I would say yes. The problem here is obviously if AI once is smarter, or smarter than a human, then it obviously will become difficult to control it. On the other hand, maybe it will even build smarter things. I mean, if you tell artificial intelligence to build a car, maybe they would have created a completely different one. I mean, in terms of the shape. So it can also turn out better. But we're obviously always afraid that things go bad. The problem is obviously always who is then in control of that intelligence, and yeah, that's the thing we definitely have to look at. But I think if we, as I said before, if we make things transparent, if we really think about how we set up those kinds of tools, what artificial intelligence actually can access to and can also make, we still it stays in that kind of field where it should be controllable, and even if it's smarter than us, it's just acting in that specific field, and it's not breaking out like we had it in, as I said before, in Terminator, in Skynet, where the machine are taking over. Well, I would say yes, definitely. I mean, I guess, well, if hackers or intruders try everything to actually to for their goal, so they would do anything to manipulate it. So I would definitely also say that's possible. Uh, if, well, I mean, uh, yeah, we definitely also have to have a look at that. But I mean, yes. So that's still it's still possible. It's definitely possible. Yeah. So we definitely look at how that for that as well, and yeah, always be cautious. Well, to some part, definitely it would be nice. Yeah. Well, or if definitely that it will be already integrated. So yeah, I could imagine that going forward, it will be, well, some packages will actually allow to kind of using artificial intelligence, so to actually react quicker. I mean, either it's in the firewall or the hardware itself, or then it will be managed by or orchestrated, I guess, over cloud tools, cloud dashboard. Yeah, but at the end of the day, that's definitely the way to go forward. Otherwise, we're too slow, as I said before. I mean, the artificial intelligence also, obviously, as soon as you find, well, I'm going to say, a vulnerability, it has to act, and that's definitely the way to go forward. So I would say yes. Sure. So thanks a lot for having me. Yeah, I hope really you could enjoy it as well. I did, and yeah, feel free. Yeah, hopefully we can do another session as well, and yeah, and really try out those kinds of tools you just learned about today. So thank you again.